back to Best in the Biz Talking Business with CNA student and alumni entrepreneurs. My name is Ian McDonald. I'm your host, and today with me is Andrew Hibbets. Welcome, Andrew.
Hi, Ian. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So please introduce yourself and tell our listeners a little about your experience in business services.
My name is Andrew Hibbets, and I'm an Economic Development Officer with Horizon TNL. That's Newfoundland and Labrador's bilingual economic development organization. As well, I'm a business owner myself. I recently purchased Candy Lane, which is an online specialty candy shop.
Very cool.
Yeah. And I guess in terms of my experience with business owners working in that field, I've owned several businesses over the years. I lived in St. Pierre, Miquelon, and I owned a small business teaching English at home.
Okay.
And I also operated a short-term rental there. Many years ago, I used to work with the Regional Economic Development Board out in Corner Brook, and I ran a program called Business Wings, which was recently resurrected by Navigate, which is pretty cool to see.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, the experience runs deep then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and St. Pierre's a beautiful spot too.
Yeah.
Been there a couple times.
Everybody should visit.
Yeah. A little plug for St. Pierre. So your organization, Horizon TNL, supports Francophone entrepreneurs around Newfoundland and Labrador. Tell us a little bit about the services that you folks offer.
Sure. So before, when we would introduce ourselves, we would often say we're a Francophone economic development organization. But we realized that sometimes when we would present ourselves that way, sometimes people would kind of tune us out because they thought, this doesn't apply to me at all.
Yeah, fair enough.
So we've been saying bilingual economic development organization because there's actually services that everybody can avail of.
Okay.
So our mandate is related to entrepreneurship, employability, tourism, and immigration. So it's very broad, but just to give you a few examples, like we often work with employers, so helping them with their recruitment needs. So
Okay.
if there's an employer out there that has a position, for example, that would require that the candidate be bilingual. So for example, it could be a tourism operator, anywhere from a hotel to maybe a tour operator.
Yep.
They could reach out to us and say, hey, we're trying to find somebody with these qualifications, and we'd love to have somebody bilingual.
Gotcha.
We can look through our database of job seekers and see who we have and try and match the job seeker and the employer.
Awesome.
So the employer themselves, they it's okay if they don't speak French,
Yep.
but perhaps they need to hire somebody that does. So
Yeah, of
that's where
course.
we come in. So as long as French kind of fits into the equation somewhere, then there's a role for us there.
Awesome.
With that said, I'm connected to many organizations throughout the region. So if anybody is unsure, they can feel free to contact me, because if I'm unable to help them, I'll direct them to somebody who can. So
Yeah, two things there. Big thing right now is like staff shortages too. So I mean,
yeah,
being able to have that service and having entrepreneurs utilize that, such a big thing, especially with the bilingual part too, right? I mean, a lot of companies are looking for that right now, especially in the tourism sector. Like you said, a lot of folks from Quebec come down, and I'm sure that's a huge draw if you have a bilingual employee.
Yes, absolutely. I've attended the Montreal Outdoor Adventure Show for
very
the
cool.
last 2 years, and we've been noticing a huge demand coming off the heels of COVID. So many people in Quebec are looking at traveling through Newfoundland and Labrador.
Yep.
So a lot of them, especially at this particular show, they kind of like the off the beaten path kind of adventure.
Yeah, definitely.
So a lot of them have been traveling up through Labrador on the newly completed highway, and coming across on the ferry, and then coming down through the western region of the province and exiting through Port aux Basques. So,
wow.
so even though the Labrador route seems to be really popular, the southwest coast is still getting a lot of attention.
Awesome.
They're checking out things on their way out. So what I love about that show is that they don't have it's not that you're convincing them to come. They're coming. A lot of them have booked. So if anything, I'm helping them and the other people that are there representing other regions of the province. We're helping them basically plan their itinerary. So that's really exciting. That way we can kind of, see that that all regions, especially I know here, we would love to see visitors in the tours in the Southwest region. So it's
Of
great that
course.
we can direct them there. We also have the only bilingual district in the province out on the Port Peninsula, so that's a huge draw to the Quebec market as well.
Most definitely.
Our organization also does the French version of the provincial tourism website. So
Okay.
newfoundlandlabrador.com. When you go there and you click on Francais, it brings you over to our website, which is exploretnl.ca. And we also do the provincial French traveler's guide. So yeah, we've got our fingers in a lot of different
Yeah, no
areas.
doubt.
So yeah.
That's awesome. So bring it back to the entrepreneurs a bit. What are some common challenges or pain points that you kind of help entrepreneurs deal with?
So it seems like a lot of entrepreneurs, the idea of writing a business plan can be really scary for them, or accessing potential pots of funding.
Mhm.
So I find I do get a lot of requests for help with business plans. And by the way, that's a free service we offer
Awesome.
to French speaking or bilingual business owners or aspiring entrepreneurs, I guess.
Yeah.
So they can approach me, and we'll go over everything. And of course, it's confidential. So I really stress that point as well. I find some entrepreneurs, they got an idea and they're afraid to share it, but I
Yes.
can't help you if you don't tell me what it is. So
Exactly. Exactly.
I want to really stress that it's it's a confidential service, and people can feel comfortable to share that information with me, and it doesn't go anywhere else. So
Good. That's
yeah,
another great resource. Yeah. Here at CNA too, we have tons of calls from students, alumni looking to get business plans and
yeah,
a bit of help with them.
yeah,
So it's another great resource.
yeah. And like I said, if there's something that we can't directly assist them with, then I can help get them in touch with the right organization. But we've also had a lot of businesses reach out to us and want to hire somebody, but we're having difficulty doing so to pay for that employee.
Mhm.
And we have, over the last couple of years, during certain periods, we've offered a wage subsidy.
Okay.
So that's been a great a great resource for entrepreneurs, business owners out there looking to hire somebody.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. You talked about funding options a little bit. So, what would you say is a little tip or trick to entrepreneurs looking to get funding, looking to access funding?
That's a good question. I think, the most important thing is to, put yourself out there, contact these organizations, because a lot of people figure, well, if there's free money there, somebody must have already availed of it. There can't be
Yeah.
anything left. And I think it would surprise people to know that there's actually, in some cases, not a lot of uptake on programs and services. So
Mm,
unfortunately, like, these programs are here and they're available, but they're not always getting used you know, to the maximum, that they could.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
so I would encourage people to, uh, don't let your fears get in the way. To, reach out, find out the information, speak to somebody at the organization, and you might find out that this is available to you, and I guess then, and there's people out there like myself that are willing to sit down with you and fill out the application, get it
Hmm.
ready. So, those services exist.
And make those connections, I guess.
Yeah, make those connections. Don't be afraid to bang on people's doors.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what it's all about. So bringing it back to the business plans, writing a effective business plan is essential. So what would you say some of the key components of a business plan are?
Well, definitely the financials. That's
Hmm.
probably the most important part, and
Yeah.
uh, ironically, it's probably the least fun part.
Yeah, definitely for most people.
But to new startups, I try to tell people that we're just projecting what we figure will be the cash flow over the next 2-3 years.
Yep.
It's impossible to know for sure without a crystal ball, but we just look at several indicators and kind of that gives us an idea of what it potentially should be. And I think it's important to be realistic about that as well.
Most
You know what
definitely.
I mean? Like, so if somebody was looking at starting a hotel, you wouldn't probably, write your business plan that you intend to be at max capacity for for 3 years. You know what I mean? You would factor in that there would be slow points and what time of the year and that kind of thing. Also marketing. I mean, marketing is such an important piece to a business's success. So I think again, you got to have a realistic plan with the resources you have. And thankfully, with the invention of things like social media and that kind of thing, I mean, there's free services out there that we can use to maximize our exposure. So
Yep.
I think the power of social media when it comes to that, there's some bad that comes with social media, but certainly
Of course,
I think this is one of the good things. So I would encourage people to really take a look at their resources and figure out and their market, who they're trying to communicate that message to.
Exactly.
And then find the most appropriate channel, because maybe it's not quite social media. I mean, I don't think it can hurt, but I think if, for example, the target market is an older population, while some are on social media, not everybody is. So you might have to look at more traditional channels. I know that can be a little bit challenging, because we don't have newspapers or that kind of thing, but certainly there's with the exception of the West Coast Wire, of course, but I think there's still traditional channels there that we can use to get the message out. Sometimes just a printed off poster, good old printed posters can help get the word out there. So
yeah, definitely. And it seems like some of the older population really appreciate that too. And not even sometimes not even the older population, just everyone in general.
Absolutely.
Right? You're at a restaurant. Oh, you see a poster over there. Oh, I didn't realize that was happening.
Right? Exactly. 100%.
Something as simple as that. So it can definitely be effective. So we talked a lot about people just getting started. How about the folks that have been in business for a while, looking to grow, looking to scale up, having an issue, looking to deal with it?
Right.
What are some best practices or things that your organization offers?
Well, I think, in the last few years, especially, and, the labor shortage has been huge.
Definitely.
That's been impacting so many businesses and organizations out there. I never thought I'd live to see the day, actually,
Right.
that I would be to this degree, but here we are, and we just gotta, try and find ways to adapt. So I think, again, we can help with trying to fill those positions. I think employers can look at creative ways and how to, offer an experience that you're a place that somebody wants to work,
Definitely. Yeah.
And sometimes even going back to very basics, be kind to your employees. And, that's something I really think is something so simple, but, so important. You want a happy workforce. So I encourage businesses out there to remember that, be somewhere that people want to work.
Yeah, most definitely. That's such a big thing too. Hey, is like keeping your morale high through your employees and through your business.
Absolutely.
Right.
They usually work harder that way anyway.
Yeah, definitely.
I know even with my job, I absolutely love it. I've been here for almost 4 years, and I'm actually on Christmas holidays, and I'm here doing this. So
there you go.
But
awesome,
I enjoy the work so much that I could talk about it all day. So it's good. It's important.
Rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, it's Ian, host of Best in the Biz. Do you have suggestions for podcast guests or episode topics? Connect with me at www.cna.nl.ca/entrepreneurship. Thanks again for your support.
So switching gears a little bit, talked a lot about your position with TNL or Horizon TNL. My apologies.
We recently rebranded, so that's okay. But yes, very important. Horizon
TNL. Yeah, there you go. Switching gears, you recently purchased a business of your own, Candy Lane.
Yeah.
Would you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So Candy Lane has existed now for a couple of years. My friend Ashley Pomeroy was the former owner of it. And basically, it's an online candy store, www.shopcandylane.com. And people locally can go on and place an order. If it's over $10, there's free local delivery. So it's pretty cool. You can have it delivered to your doorstep. And the idea is it's candy that you won't find just anywhere. So it could be rare candy, it can be candy from other countries. So really unique stuff. And there's a lot of, I might sound a little biased, but I think there's a lot of cool stuff there, and more to come actually. Because I only just recently purchased it.
Okay.
I'm going to be placing an order soon, and certainly if there's any requests out there, people can reach out to me through our Instagram and Facebook page, and let us know, and we can try our best to get it in. I've already had a few requests, and I've been successful in tracking them down. So yeah, so it's great. It's a win for me. It's a win for them, and yeah.
Of course, yeah, fantastic. Seems like it's pretty niche business, hey? Like,
Yeah,
it's filling some memories and stuff from people's childhood. A lot of candy from
Absolutely.
then that you can't usually get these days.
yeah,
Stuff
absolutely.
like that.
And it's important to note as well that I can also send candy through mail, good old fashioned mail. So they can place the order and order it and have it shipped to them.
Okay.
Of course, that's not for free, but
Yeah.
but a free local delivery. So yeah, but it's a pretty cool website, and I was fascinated by it when Ashley was running it, and I thought it was such a cool idea, and I thought it could be a fantastic side hustle, or it could be a full-time thing. I'm not sure, but there's loads of potential there. So I think that's the thing I find most exciting about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. It is exciting, no doubt.
hmm
Would you want to talk a little bit more about like the acquisition, how that kind of happened, how that unfolded?
So we kind of consulted with some local resources and that kind of thing to just kind of make sure we were, had everything in a row. But basically, we did an agreement and exchange of funds and whatnot,
Yeah.
and it was fairly simple. We kept it simple.
Good.
So,
Yeah. Simple's usually the best solution. Hey.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome. So what was really the driving factor behind purchasing Candy Lane?
Well, I'm a candy fanatic myself, so
Me
I
and you
don't know
both.
if that's a good thing. That's the biggest challenge, is probably stopping myself from eating the inventory. But I love candy. I think it looks like a really fun business. I'm a very social person. So even though I've only recently purchased the business, I recently attended a flea market and set up shop there and sold it at the flea market. And I wish there were more, but I'm going to work on that too. If somebody doesn't organize it, I'm going to organize it. So-
Awesome.
but that was actually, I found that really that was a productive day.
Mhm.
Even though this particular flea market didn't have an overwhelming amount of people present, Candy Lane, I think, was probably the hottest table in the
Wow.
room. So we sold a fair bit of candy that day. Actually, it totally surpassed my expectations. So
Very nice.
so I'm really excited. I hope I can get to do some more of those as well. So
Yeah, hopefully there's more on to go.
yeah.
Awesome.
hmm
So tying it back to CNA a bit. So you're also a CNA grad.
Yes.
What did you study
Very
at CNA?
I studied a business administration marketing diploma, and then shortly after, well, right away actually, I studied another diploma, business administration, human
Okay.
resource management, and I did that through online studies after, because I discovered that for a few more courses you could do the another diploma, so I thought that was pretty cool. Also, I continued my studies after because College North Atlantic is fortunate to have, agreements with several educational institutions. So I continued my Bachelor of Business Administration at Cape Breton University. And then while there, I won a bursary, and you had to be a returning student. So I discovered that they had an agreement with their Bachelor of Arts and Community Studies program. So I ended up doing that
Perfect.
degree as well. So that was a wonderful experience as well. And now today, at this current time, I'm also studying my master's degree. So I'm
Okay.
studying a Master of Arts in Interdisciplinary Studies through Athabasca University.
Wow. Busy times.
Busy times.
A job, a business, and masters.
Yeah. I think the important thing is time management. As long as I can figure out a way to be effective at all things, and just balance my schedule and try and keep it, manageable, then it's okay. I can take on a lot of different things. Because also, I'm very involved in different volunteer capacities throughout the region. So I'm on the board with Tourism Southwest, Sir Thomas Roddick Hospital Foundation, based in George Pride, Long Range Small Business Committee, Community Education Network, and I think that might be all of them, but I'm not sure. Oh, Our Lady of Mercy Complex Committee.
Oh, wow.
So
let's continue.
Yeah, so I keep myself pretty busy, but I enjoy it. So
yeah,
that's good.
That's the main thing, as long as you enjoy it, and it seems like it is your passion, so it makes things easy.
Definitely.
Yeah. So did your experience at CNA really influence your business, would you say?
Absolutely. I think the business administration program at CNA, it really prepares a person, I think, even in other ways that we don't quite realize. Just even critical thinking skills. I find my critical thinking skills are way different after having completed that program. That was a long, long time ago. I started in the fall of 2006 at CNA, so that was a long time ago. But I've carried those skills with me, and the other thing is when I transferred credits to Cape Breton University, I received credit for a lot of for their program. So but it was a pretty advanced standing. It was almost like 3 years or something was taken off of the degree. So
that's big.
So that was huge. So I think other institutions recognize the value of a CNA diploma as well, and I think they see it as having like a quality education. So I think that's really important, and that's been really helpful to me. Also, just, obviously business owner, business administration, having, learned skills around marketing and accounting and all of that stuff has been really, really helpful for day-to-day business.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like a lot of the CNA programs go hand in hand with being an entrepreneur a lot of the time.
Absolutely.
So
yeah,
it's a good transition and a good foundation to lay.
Yeah, absolutely. No regrets. And I encourage anybody out there that if they're thinking about taking the plunge in the business administration program, they should absolutely do so. I think even one of the things that attracted me to it coming right out of high school was that if I didn't like it, there was a 1-year business administration certificate. And I'm assuming it's still the same, but yeah. So there was an exit point if I didn't enjoy the work, but I ended up loving it and went on and became a bit of a professional student. But
well, it seems like it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out.
Yeah,
So
in the end, awesome. So what other resources and tools do you recommend for entrepreneurs looking to get started or scale up, just in general?
Well, I think, there's so many organizations around that are designed to assist aspiring entrepreneurs, existing entrepreneurs. And again, people really need to avail of those services. Keep an eye out for, events that are being organized. There's so many programs and events being offered. Like, for example, the Long Range Small Business Committee, I mentioned them earlier. That's actually a collaboration between a few organizations. So I'm there representing Horizon TNL and their mandate. There's also a representative from CBDC Long Range, ACOA, and, I think having all those organizations come together and organize various programs for, we're on the ground, we're helping entrepreneurs. Like right now, one thing we're offering is the 12 Days of Christmas shopping campaign. It just kind of wrapped up and we'll be doing the draw tomorrow. But a lot of business owners, when I went around and was dropping in to pick up the box of ballots, somebody said to me, this is so great that you're doing this, because the world's really heavy right now, with inflation, wars, coming off the heels of COVID. They said they noticed in their shoppers there's a lot of heaviness, and people just need a a pick me up, and
of
you know,
course.
and it might sound silly, but you know, even just the potential of winning $500 or a $250 gift card,
Yeah.
you know, it's just something for people to get excited about, you
Most
know,
definitely.
and it feels like, you know, the business community really appreciate, you know, that extra, you know, that je ne sais quoi, you know,
Yeah.
that extra, you know, thing to be able to say to their shoppers, hey, you can put in a, you know, an entry and it's free, and yeah, they just
Yeah.
have to make a purchase.
It's a
So
little win-win for everyone. It's a win-win for
yeah,
the customers, win-win for the businesses, and just the communities in general.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, and I want to mention as well that the prizes are sponsored by the town of Stephenville, so it was really great to have their assistance as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always nice to have a municipality on board.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. They're such a heartbeat of a lot of the small business communities.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So last question. Where can our listeners find out a little bit more about Horizon TNL or Candy Lane?
Okay, so for Horizon TNL, our website is horizontnl.ca. And there's lots of information on there. We're also on Facebook. For Candy Lane, we have social media pages on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And we also have a website, shopcandylane.com. If anybody would like to reach out to me directly, my contact information is on both websites. But if somebody out there wants to contact me regarding Horizon TNL services, my email address is ouest@horizontnl.ca.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much for all the great insights, and thanks for coming out today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right.
Thanks.
So that's a wrap for today's episode, folks. If you like today's episode, please leave a review wherever you listen to your podcast. You can find us at www.cna.nl.ca/entrepreneurship. Thanks, and have a great day.